Now, this is an ordinary piece of wire mesh. Now, if you can imagine some convection currents, air also heats up in the same way that liquids heat up, by convection. That means that hot air is rising up above this candle and churning around, coming back down to the cooler air is coming back down and getting warmed up, and it rises up above the candle. I'd like to get that flame just a little higher. Maybe I can try it with the small candle while we're waiting for that one to burn down a little. Yeah, that one, see, has a much bigger flame. That's what we want. Now, watch this. Here's the interesting thing. This wire mesh will conduct heat, not by convection, but by conduction. And if we put this wire mesh over the flame, you can see that the flame cannot get through that wire mesh. There are lots of little holes in there. You'd think that flame could go right through the holes, but it can't. Why would that be? Yes?
Because there's not enough, because it's a candle and it's wire, and it just won't go through because it's wire.
Well, it could go through there. I'll tell you why it won't go through. The reason it won't go through is not because there isn't enough space, because there's plenty of space between that wire mesh. But the wire takes the heat away so quickly that you can't have a flame, because there are three things that are required in order to have fire. You have to have fuel, you have to have oxygen, and you have to have heat. And what this mesh does is it takes the heat away. So there's still fuel there. In fact, you can see the fuel coming up. It's the wax that burns, and all this smoke is the fuel. But there's not enough heat there, and there's plenty of oxygen there, but the wire mesh is taking all the heat away so that flame can't burn above. And actually, it's quite fascinating to watch, because you can actually get down until you think the candle is out, and it comes back to life, because there's plenty of heat still on the mesh. There's enough heat on this wire mesh to create a flame. But that can only be done if you're doing it slowly. Boy, you can see lots of smoke there, and still a flame. But if you take a part of the wire mesh that's cold and quickly put it down on the flame like that, before there is a chance to have heat conduction, that flame will go out. See, if we put it quickly down on, maybe I'm putting it in a hot place. Let me find a cold place. There's some cold right there. Whoops. Light it up.
Holy, look how small it is. Use the big candle.
Well, that big candle just doesn't have a decent flame yet. Isn't that neat? Too cold.
Use the big flame, just take it up and then just go boom.
Well, if we can get a bigger wick on this, we might be able to do it with the big candle. Part of the problem with this big candle is the wick is made out of real thin string. I didn't notice that. Birthday candle has a real thick wick. See what happens here. Yeah, cold snuffed it right out. Now we'll try it by letting this wire mesh heat up. Snuffed it out. We're having a lot of luck today, aren't we? Heat up the wire mesh. Yeah. It's not nearly as dramatic, though, because it's such a small flame.
Here we are again at John Wilson Elementary School. If you'd like to write to us, write to Mr. Walters, Box 1562, Innisfail, Alberta, TOM1AO. See you next week.